Okay, I'm back again today. So the title of this live is Want to Get Back to Normal, You're Wasting Your Time. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so let's explain it. I'm just gonna make myself more comfortable. Okay, so throughout the whole year of 2020, I've heard people say, I just wish for things to get back to normal. I hate this year. I feel um, like I just wasted my time. Um, and people are just like waiting for things to go back to how they used to be. You're wasting your time. Things won't go back to how they used to be because things weren't working as they used to be. So 2020 gave us this beautiful gift of seeing how things don't work out personally, collectively, and like all over the planet. I am in like a huge process of releasing, integrating, learning everything that isn't working in my life and like letting go of really big patterns and really big like ancestral shit. And I just want to tell you that if you're trying to get back to normal, if you're just like waiting for things to get back to normal, you're truly wasting your time because you're not seeing the gifts of this change. You're not seeing the gifts of this letting go. Things can't go back to how they used to be. We fucked up the planet. We hurt each other. We hurt ourselves. We live in families where our own personal truth isn't encouraged and seen. We come from families that are wounded and traumatized in big and small ways and in all kinds of ways. Getting back to normal, there is no normal. Like, yes, it is what it is, but it's not normal. It's not natural. We live in a world that's upside down. So what we think of as normal is actually hurtful to ourselves and the planet. So if you think that getting back to normal is being able to travel wherever you want and buy all the things that you are able to buy, and for people to have the jobs that they used to have, that is not normal because most of us had jobs that we aren't really aligned with. So we got this opportunity to look into ourselves and really explore what our truth is, and we will still continue doing that throughout this year. And we need to acknowledge that we can't just think that, yeah, now 2020 is over and then we will have this beautiful year, which we will in many ways, but we will need to first get real with ourselves, with love, and see what isn't working. Like for me personally, what's been coming up very very much for me is trying to control everything, feeling really victimized by the world, feeling alone, feeling afraid to express myself, feeling afraid to let go, feeling like I need to please people. My people pleasing have been like spiking, and being critical of myself, feeling like I don't really know where I belong and what's going on within me, and looking way too much in the outside world than the inside for answers to the questions that I've had. And this is all coming up not to punish me, even though it sometimes can feel like it, but it absolutely isn't coming up because of that. It's coming up so that I can actually heal it even further than I have done previously. So we can't just sit and wait and like put our heads down and just wait for things to go back to normal, because that, like, we're wasting our time. Things haven't been working in the normal, so why would we want to go back to it? Yes, it will need a lot of change, and it will be uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. It will be confusing. It is confusing for me. Like, there's so many questions, so many not knows for me personally. Like, there's so much going on inside of me, and I'm sitting with it, and I'm exploring it, and I'm welcoming it, and sometimes I'm not, and sometimes I just trying to distract myself because that's what I'm used to. But I'm finding a new love in that, in those patterns, in that humanity. And I don't want to go back to how things were, because I truly recognize that they weren't working. And yes, I don't find change comfortable. I'm not a person that thrives within change and is just like, who, not like right now in my life. I'm not. I find change very uncomfortable, and I need to go slow, and I need to be kind with myself, and I need to give myself the time that I need to integrate and take my time and be with myself and speak to people about how I'm feeling, that I trust. But I do not want to go back to how things were. I I don't see a point in that. I don't see a point in why we have gone through this extremely tough and crazy year to not learn anything from it and go back to how things used to be. Yes, as a collective, in most places of the world, we are so used to going fast, and we are so used to having things in a certain way, and we are used to being able to do whatever we want whenever we want. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have freedom. Of course, I am all for freedom. I am a freedom freak. But what I'm saying is that we haven't been doing things consciously, and the planet and the world and our souls will continue to push us to do things consciously and show us the ways that we are showing up unconsciously, show us the way where we are showing up from our wounds. So if you're just telling yourself that you long for things to get back to normal, you just want to be able to do everything that you were able to do, did you actually do them because you wanted to, or because you've been told that that's the way they should be done? Like, there's so many people in my life that have never been interested in anything of this, and have had such big insights this year, this past year, and have been really seeing things from a different perspective, of um, being more open to look within themselves and just ask themselves big questions and make changes in their lives and be more vulnerable, so you can see that the change is happening and people do actually want a change to happen. And there's also a lot of people who are just waiting for things to change for them, and that will not happen. There will be changes that will just happen for you by the collective, of course. But if you're not participating consciously in your life, you're just allowing things to happen without you having a saying in it, without you consciously choosing your life. You're just waiting and feeling powerless, and feeling like something else is steering your life, and you now have the choice. So many people are showing us this all the time, that we have a choice. We can steer our lives in the direction we want them to go, but we need to participate consciously. We need to heal. We need to integrate. And we need to take out time to do that. And we need to reflect upon ourselves, and we need to go through the grief that comes with letting something go, and that comes with realizing all the ways that things haven't been working, because it is painful. It's not really fun to know that something you've been doing for such a long time have been hurting you. So it might come with some pain, and that's totally natural, more natural than going back to how things used to be and just hoping for things to end without you actually having to learn anything or see anything or change anything. There are so few people that are actually happy. Most people are just comfortable, and that is not the same thing. So being comfortable doesn't it's not a bad thing to be comfortable. It's not bad to feel comfort. That's not what I'm saying, but we're comfortable in a destructive way. So we're comfortable with consuming, we're comfortable with doing things the way we have, we're comfortable with sitting in the traditions and the conditioning that we've had, we're comfortable with, let's say, eating cereal for breakfast. But why are we actually doing that? Like, this is just a really simple example, but we're not questioning, we're not asking ourselves who we are. We're just going with what we had handed to us as we grew up as children. So ask yourself these questions. Why are you really hoping for things to get back to normal? What is it that you're like trying to get away from? What is all these changes directing you towards? What truths do you need to ask yourself? And I'm asking you this as I am asking me this, and being in my own process. Because we can't just take this time and try to get rid of it and try to just make it be something that it's not. We need to embrace the change and do it consciously and do it with love and do it with awareness. We can't go back to how things were because it didn't work. How can we say that we want to go back to normal when we are the most depressed, anxious, and traumatized, like, collective generation of all times? That's not normal. If you're teaching your child more about math and science and how society works, but nothing about their emotions and their inner well-being, that's not normal. That's not good for them, because yes, they might be very smart academically, but what does that smartness give them if they can't show up for themselves and take care of themselves? If you're trying to mold your child into something that you think they should be without actually paying attention to who they came here to be and who they want to be and what feels true to them, and encouraging them to be their own person, that's not normal. So we need to ask ourselves, why is this time here? Why have we been through all of this? Because there is a reason for it. And what can we do out of this time? I see all these things about how 2020 is the worst and kill 2020, and there's some kind of documentary or something on Netflix, something about 2020, and people are just talking about how this is the worst year ever, blah blah. Your perspective is off. Like, your perspective is really, really off. Yes, it's not been the best year. Best, whatever that means. Yes, it's been a tough year, yet it's been many changes and pains, but all of them led to us being more conscious of something for most of us. All of them led to us understanding something on a deeper level. All of them led to we being more open to each other and ourselves. So all of these things that we judge as bad and horrible and fucked up, they are coming to us with gifts, but many of us are not choosing to see these gifts. We're just dismissing them and trying to get into the old because that's more comfortable. We're comfortable, but it's not the time to just stay comfortable. We need to really ask ourselves, why are we in this change? Why are these things coming? What can we learn out of this? How can we grow out of this? What can I do to create a world where everyone is safe? How can I be myself more truly? What are my core values? Am I really living from those core values? And if not, why? We can't just wait around for things to get back to something that wasn't even functional. We can't just skip the parts of life that are uncomfortable. We can't just bury our heads in the sand and pretend that things aren't changing, because they are. And it will be much easier for us to participate in them than to try to get away from them. And I'm saying all of this to myself as much to anyone else. Like, I know myself that I have so many things to work on. I have so many patterns that are not working great for me. I have so much developmental trauma that have been coming up for me that's been really hard and painful to see. Um, but I'm going to take it slow with love and with kindness, and I'm not going to put my head in the sand and try to run away from it and not to see it and just get back to normal, because it wasn't really normal. And I never felt that anything in this world is normal since I was a child. This world just felt so weird to me, so strange, and so like upside down. This world has always felt so upside down for me. And I'm really happy that we are actually going in the direction of flipping it around. And yeah, we are in a like massive rebirth, and births are often painful, and there's so much craziness that is going around a birth. There's so much blood and sweat and tears. And then we have this beautiful baby, something new. And this baby has a life of its own, and its own soul and its own purpose. And what we can do is uplift that baby and hold that baby as it's exploring itself. So that's a metaphor for what we can do right now with the new world. We can uplift this new world, we can explore it, we can see how that applies to us, what this world can teach us, how we can be a part of this world, and how to be true to ourselves. So please don't waste your time by just waiting for something. Please don't waste your time by just trying to stay comfortable. Don't waste your time by avoiding the changes that need to be made in your life and in the collective as whole. Because yes, we are in this fight kind of zone where we see the new, but we're still in the old, and we don't really know where to go, and it's really confusing and it's really messed up. And that is okay. It's okay that it's uncomfortable. It's okay that it's messed up. It's okay that we don't know. It's okay that we don't have all the answers. Just stay with it, show up in the way that you can, and rest. Rest when you need to. Take care of yourself. Okay. So that's what I had to share. That's what I wanted to get out there and speak to you about. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you get some inspiration to get into yourself and do the things that are right to you. And ask yourself these questions. Stop wishing for something that is already gone. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the beautiful transformation that is calling you. Bye.